Hello from the dung heap, everybody. These are my friends. A lot of
Hi,
them.
friends.
There he is. Hi, sweetie.
Hello. Good morning, everybody.
And we're live.
Hello. SPTV. Hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Here we are. Today is Wednesday, right? Wow, it's already February 5th. I can't believe it. So, yeah, hi, here we are. My hubby is home, so I'm really excited about that. Of course, he's up at the A-frame. So, yeah, here we are. I've got to rush out the door after this. I got to go to the post office. I go maybe twice a month, and it's a big ordeal, guys, because yeah, I've got a lot of stuff I gotta box up as soon as I'm done here and send out. So yeah, I gotta get that done. But I wanted to come on. I have a few things to talk about, and I think I'm going to do a standalone video within this video about the Ramp Church slash cult. Some people think it's a cult. Allegedly, there's some abuses. Allegedly, and the reason I'm keep saying allegedly is because I've been having a lot of feedback, both positive and negative, of a video that I did a couple weeks ago, almost 3 weeks ago now, on the Ramp Church. And I did put the link, if you haven't seen it, I put the link below in the description. And also, I'm going to show you some of the comments on there. And I have some things to discuss about that. But in general, I want to talk about this concept of doubling down. And I, got like the AI, Google translation of it, so we can go into that, which is helpful. But I know personally what it's like to be in a organization slash cult in my experience, where there was a lot of doubling down. Instead of self-reflection, instead of taking any feedback, it was, no, you're an enemy if you don't agree with me 100% of the time. Who does that sound like? LRH, right? And the Scientologists talk about that of Scientology works 100% of the time if applied 100% correct, right? Who is to say that's true, right? So the same with my call. It was the word of God was the standard, but who would interpret it? Marlene. And if you asked one question, you were out in the cold. And that's why when people came against us, and I'll go into a little bit of that when I'm talking about the Ramp Church, there was a doubling down that would happen. And it was, instead of what Scientology does is that fair game thing, they go after you. It was like placing curses, and I'm going to show you some examples of it right in those comments. And it did throw me for a loop a little bit, but then I was like, you know what? This isn't true. This isn't going to affect me, but it did for a second because I'm so conditioned. And in my the Pentecostal circles that I've been in, and I believe that the Ramp Church is no exception, they believe that when someone criticizes them, that it's actually the devil doing that. That you are an instrument of evil. That you are that the devil or demons or whatever are working through you to come against them. And that whole concept. And actually, I want to mention that later, but it does come from a scripture that's quoted a lot. So anyways, I just want to say hi to everybody. Hello, hello. I'll do some greetings later. There's a lot of you in here. Glad to see you all. It's great to be here. Okay, let me just bring up the definition that I found of doubling down. And this is just from Google. Okay, double down is an expression that means to become more determined or to take a risk in a situation. It can also refer to continuing to do something in a more determined way than before. Double down comes from the game of blackjack, where it means to double your original bet in exchange for one more card. So yeah, it's taking a risk. It's being even more determined than ever. It's instead of kind of pulling back and and like I don't know, you do in blackjack, but I know in poker you fold, right? If you realize you're not going to win, or you say, okay, I'm going to exchange for another card or whatever. But this is like doubling your bets. We've seen this in in like wars, right? It's like nobody wants to surrender, so they just double down, and then all of a sudden they're surrounded, right? So you don't want that to happen. So I've been accused of being a bit of a flip-flopper. And yeah, I have changed my mind quite a few times. Like I am very middle of the ground with political issues, and I get both sides, both extremes, really mad at me sometimes because I want to know all the facts. And sometimes when I'm going in one direction, because of my past, I'm very conscious of that I don't want to be extreme in any direction. So I do kind of, stand back and say, okay, let's look at this whole picture. I try to analyze my reactions to things and not be so extreme. And so like, damn the torpedoes, full steam ahead, and then have to take the consequences for just doubling down and going, full steam. And I've seen some really, really destructive results of that because if you think of it, like in my call, when somebody would criticize us, we would like kind of huddle down and be like, they're coming against us. And it was almost like you get more isolated, you get more deeper into it, and you get more extreme because you're trying to shut out these forces that are actually trying to make you think about the direction that you're headed in, and you just hightail and go the other way. So I want to talk about that, a lot of different instances of it, and I want to get feedback from you. Of course, I always love to have your feedback and see what you think about it. So I want to show you something else, but for some reason, I'm having a little bit of technical difficulty. So let me see if I can pull this up. I don't know why it's not letting me. Okay. I'll have to just do them one at a time. I apologize for the delay. Okay. So this says the usage of double down. In popular usage, double down is often used to describe people who refuse to change their position or course of action, even when faced with pushback. Politicians, business leaders, and media outlets often use double down to describe approaching a problem with more focused energy and resources. Double down can also be used to describe taking a further risk in a situation. For example, the military government decided to double down and escalate the war. Okay. I don't know why this is doing this. Thank you for your patience. All right. Let's see if I can do this. Okay. I think I figured it out. I got it. Okay, so let's bring this up. All right. So a few weeks ago, I did a live stream about the Ramp Church, and I asked, is this a cult? It's a ministry run by Karen Wheaton, and this is based in Hamilton, Alabama, and there's been a lot of allegations, and I'll show you some of the recent ones that have come out. There's a channel that I've been following, or what do you call it, a TikTok profile. I'm not sure what it's called, but there's a TikTok. It's Joey Tribe or Tribe, and he has a lot of videos on this. If you look him up, I did put his link below, and I want to show you the latest video that came up on his channel, one of the latest videos. And there's allegations not only of financial abuse, of mental abuse, spiritual abuse, and also SA. There's quite a few cases that are allegedly being brought against them, or allegations being brought against them, and that the church covered it up. And we've seen this over and over again in a lot of religious circles. Okay, so these are some of the comments that I got on my last video, and I want to go through a few of these because I think they're very telling of what is happening as this church is being brought into the limelight and being brought forth as an issue for a lot of people. So I want to read some of the comments. One sec here. Okay. So this was from a commenter. I've actually gotten an email from them. I still have to, I just got it, I think yesterday. So I have to return it, but it says, I live in the city that the ramp was established. I know Karen personally, and I have always said that that place is more of a cult than a church entity. One time they gave everyone a paper bag and told them to regurgitate and get rid of the demons. Yeah. So, I know there's some people that are commenting and saying that all these people are lying, or that there's defamation going on. I mean, I don't think it's it's allegedly, but that is a common practice that I saw as I was a kid, and I've seen people have what's called deliverances, where they lay hands on you, they cast out demons, and a lot of people would actually throw up. That was supposed to be the demons coming out of you. So that, that's one allegation, that people are saying that was traumatic, and that's just something that is really crazy. I guess if that's what they like and they want to do, but for me as a child, it was pretty traumatic. It was pretty extreme to see that, and also just be so afraid of the spiritual world, and like I said earlier um, about the way that a lot of these, especially Pentecostal circles, will approach any critics, and the way they look at them is, okay, there's a scripture that says in Ephesians 6:12, it says, and I wrote it down, but I kind of know it by heart because it just was so ingrained in me. But it says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of this present darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So I would think of that as like, okay, it's not the person that's coming against you, it's the devil. And you would see devils under every bush and tree, right? And it was really scary because you couldn't trust anyone, and that was the thing. You'd feel like everybody was against you, and again, it would cause you to double down and go further into the cult because you would feel more protected. And I would defend Marlene all the time, and I'm seeing that this Karen Wheaton has a lot of followers that are hook, line, and sinker, and they will defend her. They're coming out, and I mean, I don't know how they're finding me in my little video, but they must be Googling it or something, and finding anybody that's speaking out against that church. So I'm just giving a platform and amplifying the allegations that I'm hearing in the different videos that I'm seeing on TikTok and other places, and just giving them more of a boost, more of a voice, because I think that these things need to be exposed. So let me go through a few more of these comments. Okay. I think it's this way. There we go. Okay. This is another commenter. I literally wasted 2 years of my life in this, only desperate to fix myself because church didn't have an answer for my issues. There was a handful of very genuine people, and thankfully they hauled out once they got red pilled, right? So once they realized what's going on. Graduated first class of the school in 2010 to 2011. I remember someone donating a blank check to pay off a huge pay off debt. A huge celebration was called. 2 months later, a prayer meeting over getting out of debt again. So go figure what happened. And that's an allegation that they took this blank check to pay off debts, and then 2 months later, they're having a prayer meeting, getting out of debt again. And there's a lot of allegations about money. This is another one. Hi, Marilyn. I attended the ramp. I was actually going to go to the ministry school. I mean, I didn't get the cult vibe. However, I did strongly feel God's presence. I will definitely stay tuned in. I'm happy I came across your channel. God bless. Keep sharing the truth. So this is somebody with a very open mind that they've attended it. They didn't get culty vibes, but they God's presence, but they want to stay tuned and they're happy to hear more. So I think that's a very healthy, non-doubling down kind of approach. And here's another one. And this, I actually did get an email from them. I'm watching your video with an open mind. My husband and I were there at this very conference. So the one that I showed part of a conference on my other video with fair use commentary. And she said that she had gone to that very conference. I was there at this very conference with our pastors and the youth from our church. I have been twice. We didn't see anything out of the ordinary. It was a wonderful conference. I'm halfway through and I really do want to know the back details. Thank you. So she's, wanting to know more because she wants to be informed, and she didn't see anything out of the ordinary. I mean, a lot of people would look at those videos and be like, this is very out of the ordinary, but some people that's their belief and that's fine. But if there's abuse going on in all these different ways that they're being allegedly abusive, then I think that there's a lot of people that want to know and need to know about it. Okay, so this is where things get a little intense. So I left a lot of these comments up. So someone says, we have partnered with the ramp since 2009. We personally know Karen and many of those here. And how you are talking, let God judge you. That's all I'm going to say. And I didn't comment on most of these, but I did comment on one or two of them. I think two of them I did. I said, maybe you should listen to some of the former members' experiences instead of threatening the church's critics with God's judgment. That's all I'm going to say. Because, it's like this nebulous God will judge you kind of thing. Okay. I'm just repeating the allegations that are being put forth from other people that have been there. Okay. Someone else says, I can't believe you are so easily hypnotized. This is about 2 minutes I can never get back. Look out when you say, look out. Yeah, I'm getting all this. Be careful. Look out when you say I'm not judging, yet the whole time you're judging. God help you to understand. Oh, okay. This was another. Let's go backwards. Okay. This is from LJ Full House. You and the people you have put in this video need to be sued for defamation. The ramp has plenty of people who have never stepped into the church in their community calling them a cult. They're just Pentecostals. They're a branch of Pentecostalism, I think they're talking about, or Protestantism, branch of Protestantism. The lies you are telling here, and I know that they are lies because 1, I've been to ramp conferences, and 2, I have children who attend the ministry school. The person making all those claims about having their laptop, phones, etc. taken away is lying. It literally has never happened. Okay, I don't know how they know it's never happened, but okay. It says, are the students asked to fast? Sure, it's a biblical teaching. Do they confess their sins to one another? Sure, if they feel led and have asked a mentor to help them be accountable. These are good biblical and godly practices. Tearing down a ministry like this, if you are only digging up bad things about and not vetting the poll making the accusation, probably people making the accusations, is defamation. These people love Jesus and love the people of the community around them. They send ministers out into the world to lead others to Jesus. If this offends you, you are either not a follower of Christ or you need to check yourself. Okay. It's not defamation if it's true, and it's not defamation if I say that it's allegedly, alleged, and that's what I'm saying. Okay. Oh, that was somebody else. Sorry. I already read that one. All right. This one shook me a little bit, guys. So I did comment on this. I think you're being very judgmental. I personally know Karen Wheaton, and I know she was a true woman of God. I would be careful if I were you. And I said, is this a threat? It's a free country with a right to free speech. Besides, I have been careful to use the word allegation. Maybe you should listen to the many accounts of people who have left her ministry. They can't all be lying, can they? That's what I'm wondering. Okay, so I think I already read that one. And I do want to play one of Joey's latest videos. Let me get that. Okay. And if you haven't seen his channel, I would highly recommend, or his TikTok, I would highly recommend going in there. He has a lot of little short videos, and they deal with different subjects. But lately, he's been talking about allegations of SA at the ramp and cover-ups, and he does show receipts. So let me just play this little bit of it. Okay, hopefully you can hear it.
A world-famous Christian ministry for years had SA predators on their leadership team and did everything they could to cover it up. The ramp in Hamilton, Alabama has a ministry team called Chosen. They're famous for their dances and dramas, but they do a lot more than just that. They preach at their conferences, some of them teach at the school, they pray and minister to people, they travel all over the world with the ministry, and they're just generally considered to be a part of the leadership team. And we have received a staggering number of reports alleging that in the years since Chosen's inception, it has repeatedly had people on its team that would harm and SA people, including children. And I'm going to introduce you to one of those guys right now. This is
Okay, so he talks about this ministry group called The Chosen. He said that several of those members have had allegations against them of SA, and the ramp has allegedly been covering it up. And this is one of the members of The Chosen, and you'll see what he has to say about that.
This is Andrew High. Andrew was a member of Chosen from about 2005 to 2013. He's currently in jail for this charge that I can't say on TikTok. And if you don't know, second degree indicates that the victim could be as young as 12 years old. Now, ramp defenders, as crazy as it is that those still exist, are quick to point out that that crime happened after Andrew High had already left Chosen. But more survivors are stepping forward and sharing their story. And we've been talking to people who knew Andrew very well, friends of his, people he worked with at the ministry, people he lived with, all corroborating a pattern of abuse that was swept under the rug. And from our sources, there are now allegations of 3 occurrences that happened while Andrew was on Chosen. These 3 survivors include both Ramp University students and conference attendees. So it's not just students who are unsafe. Literally anyone who attends a ramp conference is in danger. The first SA that we know of with Andrew High happened around 2007, where he would...
Okay, so I'm going to stop it there, but he has several videos after that where he shows other alleged perpetrators and predators, and it's really turning into a thing. Now they have a whole podcast that they're starting, which I'm really excited to be following that as well. And yeah, I'm glad that these things are being exposed, because there's so many children and so many people that have been hurt. And I have gotten several emails, and they're just heartbreaking, guys. I mean, the stories that I'm hearing, and I'm not able to share them yet, but I think that there's one that wants to come forward and at least have a statement for me to read. They're afraid. And I mean, just that little taste that I've gotten with the backlash, they don't even know me. I've never been there. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm just, like I said, amplifying, giving a platform to people that want their voices to be heard about the abuses going on, alleged abuses going on. So who chooses the chooser? Yeah, the chosen. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So I want to talk about a couple things that's on my mind and my heart regarding this whole doubling down thing. And I think it's something that could be a learned pattern, a learned response from being in a cult. And, I'm seeing it in this space. I've seen it in my own cult and even in the survivors that have left. And this thing of instead of whenever there's feedback to you, instead of doubling down, um, there's a more healthy way to do it would be to actually step back and to look at things and say and ask yourself, is there any truth to this? Is there anything that I can take away? And the thing is, at least with me, was when anybody was criticizing me, I would take it so personally because I had this whole black and white thinking of you're either good or you're bad. There's no in between. And I think people have good and bad in them. But no, it wasn't that. It was like either you're saved or you're going to hell, right? I don't know, in Scientology, what is it? Either you're a good Thetan or you're an SP or whatever. It's like either or, but it's not like that. So when people accuse me of being a flip-flopper, like, oh, she says this one day and then the next day she says, no, I don't agree with that, and blah, blah, blah. It's because I changed my mind because I realized, hey, I can apply something to the situation and maybe make things better. Right. If I get upset about something and then I say something and I'm like, okay, I'm going to step back and kind of look at the whole picture and make a correction, because instead of just keep going against a brick wall. Right. And I feel it like when I see behaviors that I don't want to emulate, I'm like, I want to run from it and not do that. Right. And not only have I been accused of being a flip flopper, I've been accused of being an enabler. I've been accused, and just like I have people coming at me that I don't even know. They don't have names, so I don't really take it personally. But calling me Ashton Kutcher and all this, and like, are you kidding me? Like, what is wrong with these people? And I realized that it's designed to get me to surrender and be like, okay, I'm sorry, I'll agree with you 100%. I don't agree with anybody 100% of the time. I don't even agree with me myself 100% of the time. So excuse me. I'm looking at it like, yeah, there's a lot of people even in this space, even in the X cult thing. And if you haven't seen Aaron's video yesterday, I would watch it. I think it's called the My Narcissism. And yeah, the way these things are just thrown around. And in my call, instead of being labeled a narcissist, you were labeled an SP. You were labeled like a heathen or a backslider, or even worse yet, a tool of the devil, right? Because they think like, oh, well, this lady is coming against, the ramp, right? So she's used of the devil. And it's like, watch out. And they're almost like, they feel like they have some kind of connection with God where they can like call on the myriad of angels to come at you and to defeat you because you're being used of the devil. And it's just, they really believe it, guys. It's like, it's not a joke. It's just, and it's not normal, a mainstream everyday Christianity either. And I'm not coming against all Pentecostals. I'm not coming against, any religion, but this sect or cult mentality is just, it's so destructive and it's so wrong. And I see that by the reaction that I'm getting from this church, and I'm just a complete outsider, I really feel for the people that feel like they've really been abused in silence. And that's kind of a way to silence people, is just to label them like, well, you're a narcissist, or you're a backslider, or you're deceived, or you're this, you're that. And I realize now that it's not really even a personal thing. It's more like them just defending their spot, and also, like I said, doubling down with it and just keep going. Okay. Okay, great. We've got a lot of starred comments, so I'll go through those. Good to see everybody. Glad you're all here. So yeah, I'm just wondering what you all think about that. If you've seen that in your own experience of, people getting feedback, and then instead of, and I've done it, believe me, I've done it, especially in the call, but getting feedback, and instead of doing a little bit of self-reflection and kind of stepping back and being like, is there any truth to this? Just be like, no way. And just, again, doubling down. It's crazy. So thank you to all the mods that are here. Just gonna say hi to some people. Kansas Esky Gal, hey there. Nita Snook, I haven't seen you in a while. Constance June, thank you for being here. I do not recall saying this, but Shakespeare, remember, be nice to George. That's official. Okay, Giorgio. He's in the back if you don't notice. Thanks, Meryl. Oh my God, now he's talking to himself. It's me and him. You brat. He's like back there. Oh my God. Abusing his power. Yeah, see, Constance, she's no dummy. She knows. The live hasn't even started. You're committing identity theft. Okay. It's going to take me a little bit to catch up here. Hey, Joel McCoy. Good to see you, friend. Terry Morgan. Hey there. We got Jojo. Hello, Jojo. Tony Asen. Hey, Asen. Buttercup. There. Looking for some more starred. Oh, Carrie J. Here you are. Hi, honey. Good to see you. Kate Delight. Hello. Oh, yeah. Did the intro. Yeah. I kind of missed it. I was going to see if we could edit it a little bit, but you know what? I like it. Bold Speeches. Aloha. Good to see you. Chrissy Never in Newton. Swedish Andrea. Hello. Everybody. Marilee. Hey, you're here. David G. Okay, I'm going to keep scrolling down here. Thank you, AB. Good to see you, honey. I'm so glad the hubby made it back safely. Yes, I'm glad too. Yeah. Constance June. Sounds like a dictatorship. When a church sounds like that, I'm out. Yeah. Exactly. Jojo, question. Your hubby is very outdoors oriented. Do you ever go with him in his outdoor activities? That's a good question. Well, some of them are a little bit extreme, like going to Alaska and 30 below zero. So that's a hard no. I used to do a lot more before I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I would sometimes hike with him. He'd get lost a lot. He sometimes does now too. But yeah, it was fun. I would do that. I've always had a little bit of like asthmatic symptoms when I like go vertical on stuff. But I do swim with him a lot. Like when we go to the lake, we do a lot of little hikes, and we go swimming. And yeah, I mean, I go up to the A-frame and we walk around this. It's like this really beautiful like countryside. And there's like half a mountain that that he's building the A-frame on. So yeah, I mean, I love the outdoors. I do a lot of gardening with him and things like that. We were just talking about doing seedlings like in this window behind us. So yeah, but I'm not a big mountain climber or anything like that. But thank you for that question. Hey, Susie Oberholt, demonizing critics is pretty culty. Yeah, agreed. Asen, comment. Doubling down is an authority figure's absolute, not accepting questioning. Yep. With single persons who do that, it is, I think, out of insecurities and not accepting self-reflection. 100%. Oh, there's my hubby. Oh, this was a little while ago. There he is. I don't think he's here. I think he's up at the A-frame. Hey, Nance Drew. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Hello. Oh Lord, yes. That is so we've got to do a stream, AB. Absolutely. We've got to talk about this stuff. Do not give the devil a foothold. Ephesians 4:27. This is one I heard often. I hope everyone's having a happy hump day Wednesday. I got camels. That's cute. AB, how mirroring is that verse one verse over from the one I heard all the time? Coincidence? I think not, right? You? Hey, Theo Bilf. Demon barf bags aren't even biblical. Sounds culty. We know, not the voices of strangers. Oh my God. Demon barf bags. Yep. I don't even think we had barf bags. I remember people throwing up. It was gross. This is awful. Or like screaming and flailing and having like convulsions when the demons were leaving them. Demons were, quote, leaving them. Oh, hey, it's Drew. Remember, hey, thank you so much for joining. I got a new cub. Awesome. Oh, okay. Oh, Liz Gale's here. Hey, Liz. Good to see you. Glad you're here, honey. Oh, Kelly. Oh, wow. All the girls are here. Hey, glad you're here, honey. Flying by. Yeah, she's a busy lady. Hey, Marilee. The minute I see such a strong argument from inside makes me even more suspicious. Yeah, the reaction. Yeah, I agree with that. It's definitely sus, right? As my kids would say. See, Spirit, I hate that these people are having to feel afraid. They have a right to tell their story. Yeah. Yeah. And there's threats, like not only God's judgment and the devil or whatever, but they're talking about, things like defamation, lawsuits and things like that. But no, I mean, it's very hard to prove that, because you have to prove that what they're saying is false, right? And I think that would be really hard for them to prove. Kate Delight, this is what makes those groups a cult. They tell on themselves. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And that's really, I just found out this morning as I was looking at Joey's recent videos on his TikTok. And that just, my eyes were stinging with tears, because it's just awful. And it's just, this isn't the only organization / church / cult that this happens. And, thinking about the 2x2s, and I was watching a video from one of their survivors, and some of the things that she went through, just horrible. And it was covered up for decades and decades. It's just awful. Anna from Canada, I watched that video of Aaron's. It feels like brainwashing to me. Both my hubby and I grew up in high control groups as children. Yeah, there's so many out there. Jason, their God is vengeful. Yeah, vengeful one for sure. I don't see them as Christians, to be honest. Yeah, like we were talking the other day about the what was his name? Alan Siders. I always think of like apple ciders. Alan Siders, the watchman on the wall, and he was just spewing all kinds of hellfire and brimstone and fear and condemnation, and it's just awful. I don't know. I don't really want to believe in that God. Oh, yeah. Yeah, or what do they call it? Some cost something. Freeze and Eagle, remember, good old equity rescue. If you admit your cult might not be perfect, you risk losing everything you've got into it. Yep. So double down and don't allow it to be questioned. Yeah, I mean, Dunk and we had invested 16 years of our life, and we had 3 kids, and we had all of our investment of time and energy and brain cells and everything into this cult, and money especially. Oh my God. And so it was really hard to leave, because what did we have apart from them? Well, we had a lot. We just didn't realize it at the time. And it was a huge loss to us. Buttercup 49. Yeah, swimming is the best therapy. Yes, I'm really glad. Like we had a pool from the time that so Austin's 24 now. So about 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, we finally got rid of the pool. Maybe even a little bit more than that. We had the pool for like 20 something years, and it was rusting out and getting gross, so we got rid of it. And then for a couple years, we didn't have a pool. And then our 25th anniversary came up, and we're like, we were either going to go on like some tropical vacation or get a pool. I'm like, let's get another pool because I think it is really good for the fibro. And I was in it almost every day last summer. I can't wait. I can't wait again. Sunk cost fallacy. That's it. Sunk cost fallacy. Right. We called it equity rescue, which is basically the same thing. And from Canada, if one person says narcissistic abuse hundreds of times, people will believe them. It is like brainwashing. You're right. It's saying something over and over and over and over and over and over. Yeah. Suspiria, hey, honey. It's important to take a step back and assess our thoughts, actions, and beliefs regularly. That's how we grow and do better. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I've gotten to the point where I've stopped like having my whole value be rested upon um my beliefs at the moment. Like they can change, right? And I'm just trying to be a better person, and I'm trying to change and evolve and get better as much as I can. So the doubling down does not found it does not work for me, because if someone has a point, I really do want to stop and listen to it. But if they're accusing me and yeah, just trying to throw me out with the trash, well, then I have no time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Hey there, Glorfindel West. Hey there. Doubling down can be a reflex. I remember eating more food when I realized I was getting heavy. Yeah, I can relate to that. AB, the convulsions scared the ever loving. Oh, you too? Oh my God. So it wasn't just our church. The deep guttural screams got me too, especially if their faces shape shifted with it. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. That was so traumatic as a child. It really was. Stace, sunk cost fallacy will keep us where we shouldn't be for longer than we like. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So it's just a matter of being open to change, to criticism. It's not like the end of the world. It's not like someone saying that you're evil and you're terrible and you're trash and you're a loser. Like I hear that a lot. Like I've been called trash. I've been called a piece of shit recently. And it's like, okay, I know that there's things that I should change from about myself, but does that mean I'm on the dung heap? Does that mean I'm completely irredeemable? Does that mean I'm trash? Does that mean I'm a piece of shit because I'm not perfect, because I have some issues? Yeah, I have issues. And the people calling me this have issues too. And maybe they should deal with their issues. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like just constructive criticism is one thing, but calling somebody trash is another. Or in this case with the ramp cult is like, and I'm going to call it a cult because it feels like a cult to me, is and more so. um it's just saying like, oh, you better be careful. God will judge you. God will get you. God's out to get you. I felt that my whole life. And there's always that twinge. Even when I hear it today, it's like, oh my God, like, is God really out to get me? And then I'm like, okay, no. And that's when you kind of step back and be like, no, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm not perfect, but looking at God like a big meanie with a hammer in the sky is really not the God that I would want to follow anyways. So yeah, that makes me want to be like, no, thank you. Oh, thank you. This actually it was a birthday gift from Chris 10M. I don't know if she's in here, but thank you, Chris. Yeah, I love it. And it matches this little, and for some reason my camera's really dark, but it's kind of like a purpley brown. I like it. And that's like a purpley brown. But thank you. Hey, Doug. Hey there. Have an awesome day. You too. So glad to see you. Glad it's not too early. Hey there, poet. Thanks for being here, everybody. Just scrolling, trying to catch up here. Did I say hi to Eric Rader? Hey, Eric Rader. Thank you for being here. Good to see you, friend. Everybody saying hi to each other. Hey, Adam Carmona. The exaggerated informality with certain cult leaders always cracks me up. Marlene, Ron, Dave. Here's our Messiah, Master of the Universe, Mike. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Cult leaders are definitely full of themselves, right? It's crazy. Wanting to be informed is a start. Yeah, I thought those comments were really good. And there's more coming out. And if people actually are open to it, see, this is the thing too. That reminded me of something I wanted to bring up is I think, and tell me if you think this isn't right, but excuse me, in my experience, this seemed to be the truth, is that there's different levels and depths of involvement in a cult. And something that really bothers me even to this day is there's people that would just come to Door of Hope, my cult, on Sundays, and they would be love bombed, and they could just come and they would spend an hour and sing some songs and listen to Marlene, whatever. I mean, a lot of her stuff was hellfire and brimstone, but they wouldn't internalize it, and they would just leave, and they'd be like, oh, they come back and they, eat the cookies and all that afterwards and food and all that. And just, like it was like a social gathering. And they didn't see what was going on behind the scenes. They didn't see the mental and spiritual, and even some cases, physical abuse, because we were being pretty much forced to fast, and the heavy labor with the, breathing in these chemicals and all that. So they didn't see all that. They didn't see the manipulation and the interrogations and all of that abuse. They didn't see it. They didn't want to see it, I think. And then there's people that were Marlene's favorites that had exemptions. So it makes me think like maybe these people are saying, well, my kid went to this and they didn't get their phone taken away. Well, maybe they were one of the chosen. Maybe they were one of the ones that was favored. And then there's people, and there's two of them at least that have come forward and talked to me. I'm not sure if they're going to want to be interviewed, but that they one is a trans individual, and the other one is also part of the LGBTQ community. And both of them were completely ostracized, according to them, which I believe it. I believe them. I do. And some of the things that they said that they went through were horrific. And one of them had a relative that passed away, and they were like pressured, like not to even go to their funeral and be with them. And that was just so messed up. And we've seen that in Scientology as well. And even in my cult, it was like, if my friend or my family member needed me and they weren't part of the elite of Door of Hope, then there's really like weird, like looking down on me for going to visit a relative that wasn't part of the cult, unless they thought that they could maybe recruit them and get something out of them. So let's go catching up. Oh my God, you poor thing. I'm sure that sounds terrible. It's June. I question these church ministry schools, not talking about accredited universities, but questioning self-created ministry schools. Exactly. Yes. And that's what Marlene called ours, was a discipleship ministry, but she also called it a Bible school. But it wasn't a Bible school. And it really wasn't discipleship ministry could be anything, but they call this the Ramp University. Yeah, I don't think it's really an accredited university. Essentially, they're well, I'm not saying making them, but they're asked to fast and to confess their deepest thoughts and actions and stuff. I don't think it's healthy. Yeah. Yes, biscuits are burning. I know. What a load of shit. Yeah, if you haven't seen the video that I did, and definitely check out TikTok on Joey Tribe. It's Trieb. Definitely check out his TikTok. And I did that video that I read the comments on about a few weeks ago, and I did put both links in the description. So I played some of their church. I also played a clip from Benny Hinn that was wild. And as an offshoot of that, I also did a stream recently with Marisa, aka Dianetics, and we talked about fundamental Christianity, charismatic Pentecostal sex. So like, let's talk about sex, SECT, and what it means to be born again and things like that. She knew a lot of people growing up that were in different sects, so we had a really good discussion about that as well. Everyone, there's good and bad in everyone. Learn to live, learn to give each other what we need to survive. Together alive. Is that how it goes? That's from the 80s, right? Stevie Wonder, and who else sang that? Was it Paul McCartney? I can't remember. I still love that song. Buttercup, I tend to agree about the brainwashing. Yeah. Yeah, because if you think about it, like if you have something repeated, like just basically pound it into your brain, and you don't get away from it, and you're not able to step back, and you have some, think about it, and you have some kind of, I don't know if it's a trauma bond or some kind of bond with a person that is constantly saying that. And even these parasocial relationships, they can be very unhealthy. So take a break from me if you need it, not you, George. You're stuck. Just kidding. But yeah, don't give anyone your power, right? Don't let anyone take that away from you. I'm just scrolling. Buttercup 49. I have a psych degree and make mistakes. People can have narcissistic behavior sometimes. It doesn't make them a narcissist. I've heard that. Yeah, that totally makes sense. And I'm sure that I can. Like, I think everybody has, if you're looking at it as like the what narcissist was like that, well, about it was a flower, right? And I'm trying to remember where the root. So, anyways, like I just remember seeing this thing about narcissism was somebody looks in the mirror, right? And that they just like to look at themselves, right? So they're sort of like self-absorbed. I think we can all be self-absorbed. I can definitely be self-absorbed. I can be selfish sometimes. I can be vain. Yeah, I think everybody has those possible characteristics once in a while, but it doesn't mean you're a narcissist. So yeah. And if you're self-aware, then you're most likely not one, right? Oh, hey, Mark Torrey. Mark and I are going to do a stream soon. We have to settle on a subject. Mark, if you're still listening, I was thinking maybe because I know you know a lot about the history of Christianity and different denominations, and I would like to talk about some of that if you'd like. But I just like to talk to him. Mark's a very smart guy. He's an ex-Scientologist, but also just a scholar. He speaks a bajillion languages, and he's just so interesting. Oh my goodness. I'm glad the cult my mom joined when we were kids got busted by the police. Tell me more about that. I want to know. Hey, Joel. I think you're 100% right about this. Joel McCoy, I think that so many folks get taken in by these culty groups because we're all looking for answers to questions that most likely are not ever going to be answered. Yeah, we're all looking for the meaning of life, right? And I don't think we can know for sure. Some people say that they do know for sure, but I don't. I don't know. We all have issues. Yep. Very few people are irredeemable. Yeah. Buttercup, read Joel. People want a community where they feel like they belong. So many vulnerable people in the world. Absolutely. Oh, yes, we have a Facebook group, guys. Join that if you want. I've been trying to post a little bit more on there. Agreed. I also don't think God is a big meanie in the sky with a hammer. Also, that image, yeah. Kate Delight with the opinion onions, the onion opinions. Funny. Hey, Kenny, good to see you. He always catches my eye because he's all caps. All right, I'm just, here we go. Oh, we got some more. Okay. Buttercup 49. Cult members can't see when they are in the cult. Their brains don't have the capacity. This is why there are deprogrammers to help ex-cult members along with therapists to help their brains. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It took me a while. I mean, I didn't have a deprogrammer. I think that that term has been misused. I think it's definitely a legitimate thing. I in some ways deprogrammed myself, but I also had a lot of people that didn't even know they were helping me, like Mike Rinder and Leah Remini and all the people of the Aftermath show, right? Everyone that told their story, like some people in here, like Liz Gale, and I think of Aaron and Miriam and all of them. They really helped me to realize that I had been in a very similar. I'd been in a cult. I was in Eric Rader. Yes, it's like I can really really relate to them and their experiences, even though they're different. They're so similar in so many ways. So yeah, it's like you said, Buttercup, your brains don't have the capacity. It's like it took many years, and still I feel like I'm still learning, I'm still growing, and trying to make sense of it all, right? And yeah, I think we help each other. I hope that I've helped a little bit, but definitely I've been helped by a lot of people. And therapy definitely helps too. It helped me. Absolutely. Mick Ramble on. Hey there. Amy Scobie wasn't allowed to go to her uncle Astor. Oh yeah, Dick Scobie. Yeah, he was on the Challenger. I think he was the commander of the, what do you call him? The captain, commander. Yeah, he was like the guy in charge, and yeah, he passed away in the Challenger explosion. Oh God, I remember that. I think I was a sophomore in high school when that happened. I remember where I was when it happened. I was in the cafeteria. Said she had to suck up the grief, which is one of the worst things to do psychologically. Scientology are also psych conditioned to shut down thoughts. Right. Yep. Yeah, and a lot of cults are like that too. Is to just you have to just shut down any natural tendencies of yourself and go against your yourself and your thoughts and your emotions and everything else. Narcissus. Okay, Greek. That's it. Okay, I was trying to remember. Yes, fell in love with his own reflection. Yeah, Narcissus. Nick Ramblon, we're also looking for support and connection, fellowship, and community. I wish more people connected on issues not related to religion. 100%. Yeah. That's a good point, Buttercup. Eventually, not dealing with emotions catches up with a person in different ways, especially physically, like autoimmune disorders. Yeah. When I came down with whatever happened to me when I started having symptoms of fibromyalgia. I didn't know what it was, and I went to the doctor several times, and they took a bunch of tests thinking that I had Lyme disease. But the strange thing was, it started out as a flu. I think I've told this story before, that my children and my husband and I all came down with the flu, and Marlene said it was God's judgment. And she sent an email and was like, there's sin in the camp, and just basically saying that we brought it on ourselves. And then all my kids and my husband all recovered from the flu, and I didn't. And I had symptoms, body aches, and just I was so sick and I couldn't move, and I was like just paralyzed practically for 9 months. I barely could even get out of bed. I was so, so sick. And then finally I went to a rheumatologist because this was like the early days of when I was kind of sneaking on the internet. All I had was email, but then I started to learn how to surf a little bit. And I think that was the beginning of the end for me being in the cult too, because I was able to kind of see outside a little bit. Right. And then I ended up going to a rheumatologist because I was like, I told my doctor, I'm like, I think I need to go to a rheumatologist. Didn't know what that was, but I went and they did the pressure point test and all that. And he said, I think I know what you have. And he looked at me and he said, I just want you to know something right now. I believe you. And when he said that, I just burst out to, I cry at a drop of a hat anyways, but I started crying and I was like, oh my God, it's not the devil. It's not my sin. It's this thing called fibromyalgia. And now I know I had a doctor a few years ago that said that she had a lot of patients with fibromyalgia. And she said one thing that they all had in common was severe trauma in their background. So when she found out about, the fire and my mother and the adoptions and all, the homelessness and everything I'd gone through, and then the cult and some pretty traumatic childbirth experiences as well, she was like, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that you have an autoimmune problem, condition. So yeah, I said all that to say I agree with you on that one. Hey, force of delightful nature. I think many of us want to be liked and have a tendency to self-reflect and self-discover. Those are healthy and necessary. 100%. Yeah. McRamblon, the mind-body connection is huge. Having chronic pain and being young is difficult because of mental ways it manifests. Yeah, I can relate to that. Ugh. I have to drag myself around sometimes. Some days are worse than others. Absolutely. I'm not young, but I was 35 when I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. And I guess to me that feels young now. Old to be 35 again, right? It's true. Oh wow, I didn't know about him being on the Challenger. Yes. That was Amy Scobie's uncle. Yeah. Smash that like. Thank you, Kate Delight. You get the spatula. Or smash it with your spatula. Yeah. Buttercup. Marilyn, the cognitive dissonance takes a long time to switch off. It really, really does. Yeah. Marilyn, trauma lives in the body. Mm. Mm. Oh, really? They thought you had Lyme disease? Yeah, I had several tests. I remember just being like a pincushion for the longest time. They were looking at anemia and my thyroid and everything else, and everything was coming back negative. And then I think I had like 2 Lyme tests that both came back negative, but they're like, you've got to have Lyme. You've got all of the symptoms. So they ended up doing this, what's called a Western blot test. And I think they only do it in like one of the Midwest states, maybe Colorado. And that came back negative. So they said, okay, it must be something else. And that's when I started to do some of my own research and said, I think I need to go to a rheumatologist. And this was when like fibromyalgia was just being discovered, and it was like, yeah, it's in your head, it doesn't really exist, but it sure did because I was in a lot of pain. Yeah. Hey Eric, I had so much anger and loss in me that I never wanted to admit that the cult successfully destroyed me and my family. Only after I was able to start healing. Yeah, I know you've been through so much, and that, I don't think it necessarily makes it easier, but just to know that what it really is, at least for me, it really helped me because, yeah, there was so much destruction and so much past hurt, but just to know that I could put one foot in front of the other and move on and have a degree of healing. So, and make my own life, start new in the real world. And I'm still learning what the real world is about. It's a pretty scary place, but yeah, I'm learning. Yeah, because of trauma, right? Higher chance to have an autoimmune disease because of trauma. That's what I've heard, and it seems to be true in my experience, that's for sure. Yeah, McRamble, I've heard that things like car accidents can definitely bring that on. Definitely. Um, After severe car accident, EMDR therapy helped PTSD. Sorry. I was going to say complex PTSD, but it's just PTSD. Okay. You hold around things that vibrate. You hold around things that vibrate while talking about trauma and side effects, memory of event, etc. 7 sessions later, worst PTSD symptoms resolve. Wow. Yeah, I haven't done that. I've heard it's pretty good. Maybe I should try it. But yeah, just counseling and therapy really, really helped me a lot. I've been in and out of it quite a few times. Love you, Eric. Yeah, we love Eric. All right, just scanning some stuff. A lot of nice chatting going on. Oh, yeah, that's right. Tony Hoban. Doug did many videos with HT Tutor describing the difference between being a narcissist and just having a narcissistic trait. So, yeah. Yeah, I think that some do more than others. Yeah. Kate Delay, question. Fibromyalgia, is it generalized pain, localized pain? It can be both, but it's mostly characterized by generalized pain. Like I do hurt all over. Sometimes I'll have more of an area that hurts more than others. Sometimes it's like literally my skin, like my skin hurts. I don't know. But lately I've had also some, and I don't know if it's just fibromyalgia. I haven't really gone back to see if there's any other issues going on, but I know I do have osteoarthritis also, but I feel this heaviness in my legs when I first wake up. And I do have a lot of, what do you call that? Inflammation. And so I try to treat some of it like with, avoiding certain things. Like I try not to eat a lot of potatoes or nightshade. I do love peppers though, like sweet peppers, green and red and all that. But things like that can give you like more, sorry, I'm starting to get the brain fog. It must be, yeah, it's getting to be 2:00. Yeah, I think things like, they say things like maybe turmeric and other things can cut down on inflammation. I'm not really sure. I've experimented with some things, but yes, it's pretty much generalized. But I've heard people that have had fibromyalgia say sometimes it seems concentrated in like their lower back, places like that. So never know. Yeah, gay psychiatrists probably should not go to Scientology. They're not going to be accepted very well. That's funny though. Big ramble on. Lots of options for therapy out there. I like trying new ones. It shouldn't be viewed as bad or weak thing. No, it shouldn't. It can be incredibly useful, helpful for a variety of aspects of life. Absolutely. Yeah, inflammation is a trigger for autoimmune disease. I have thyroid disease. Oh, I'm sorry. See you later, Joel. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, we're over an hour today. Yeah, this was great. Let's see if I missed anybody. Well, I think it was a good talk. I hope you guys got something out of it. It's just always nice to hang out with you all and see what's up. Um, yeah, I'll be doing more of these things, but I also have some more interviews coming up that I'm excited about. And if you're a streamer, a content creator, and you want to chat, or if you want to tell your story or anything like that, you can always email me. Xenu Marlene, everybody. I haven't done one of those today. At coffeecultsandcrafts@gmail.com. I'd love to talk to you. And okay, guys, I will see you later, and we will talk soon. Bye. Xenu Marlene, everybody partake. Cheers. This is good coffee. This is why, my hubby makes the coffee.